Yo, what's up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of The Sesh. On today's episode, I'm just going to talk about that one time I tried to quit smoking and took Chantix. Uh, I was just thinking about it the other day, and I was like, you know what, dude, let me just talk about it a little bit, because it leads into a bigger point at the end. A while ago, probably over 10 years ago, probably around 10 years ago, actually, uh, I took Chantix to try to quit smoking and cigarettes. And, like, you could take Chantix for a week and still smoke, then it just kind of like blocks the nicotine cravings or whatever. But it's like I don't know if it's like a chemically, if it's like an antidepressant or like what it's classified as, but like it takes a while to build up in your system for it to work, in your brain to block the receptors, kind of like a bipolar medicine or anxiety meds or something. They may need to build up in your system a little bit. So, and some of the side effects of it, according to the labels and commercials and doctors and stuff, was, depression and, crazy dreams, nausea, stuff, shit like that. So, I got some Chantix, black market Chantix, not black market. One of my friend's moms gave it to me. So I started taking it, and within a week or two, it kicked in, did its thing, worked great. I didn't even care to smoke cigarettes. The only thing that sucked was when I took it in the morning, I had to make sure I ate first. Otherwise, it would get me super nauseous and I'd throw up, and it was gross. Because in the morning, if you don't eat, you have really nothing to throw up. It's just like bile and shit. It's real nasty. So I had to make sure I ate before I took it in the morning. And then you take one in the morning, one at night. Or I forget the exact. I think it was like one in the morning, one at night. It worked great. I stopped smoking cigarettes for probably around a month. I actually stopped smoking because it took a little while to kick in, and even when it did, I would still smoke cigarettes here or there. Not as many throughout the day. Probably cut it down to like 40% of what I normally would in a day, maybe a little less than that even, which would be about like 5 or 6 cigarettes a day at that point, where I wasn't having as many. So anyways, then a couple weeks of that went by, and I just lost the urge to smoke cigarettes. If you don't know why I pounded my chest when I said the urge, because I'm the urge. So, anyways, I lost the urge entirely to smoke cigarettes. They kind of grossed me out, which was fine. Because, sometimes, man, there's nothing better than a fucking Newport 100. You know what I mean? As sick as that sounds. Addiction, baby. But anyways, I lost the urge. They tasted gross, and I probably went around a month without having a cigarette. And, I'm taking the Chantix, everything's going great. It's great, it's fine. Then all of a sudden, started feeling like weird. Before I get to that, though, the dreams were crazy, and they were amazing. That is like the best thing about Chantix while taking Chantix. The dreams were amazing. I have an episode of the sesh called Crazy Dreams, and in it I mentioned this dream. But it's a dream where I could only say me and my friends were at war with what I could only call the haters, and it was an epic war. I'm just trying to find something on my computer real quick. I apologize. But anyways, it was an epic war, and it was like legit, like sand dunes, throwing grenades. Yo, watch out! You know, fire in the hole, motherfucker! Like it was so vivid too. Like it seemed like legit. Like I woke up and I was like, yo, did I just go to war? You know what I mean? What the fuck just happened? You know? So that was great. But all of a sudden, I started feeling sad. Like just sad. You know? Like, and at the time, like, I wasn't working, like, you know, life wasn't the greatest for a person in their early 20s. So, you know, I was like, I'm probably just down right now, like, you know, whatever, you know what I mean, whatever. And like, you know, a week goes by, and it's like worse, and like I wake up, and like as soon as I woke up, I would just feel like I wanted to cry for no reason, like nothing bad happened. I just woke, like waking up was the bad thing that happened. You know what I mean? Like it was just like rough, you know, and I felt like the air weighed like 300 pounds, and I was just like walking through this weighted world, you know, and I was like, what the fuck, man? So like another like few days of that goes by, and it just kind of like gets worse, and you know, a little worse within the few days. So like me and my friend Melissa, she gets out of work, you know, we go on a smoke ride. You know, me and Melissa have been friends for a super long time. I've known her since I was a kid. We really didn't become friends until we were teenagers. More of a, not that we disliked each other, her brother disliked my best friend, so therefore we, you know, couldn't like each other by happenstance, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, we became friends when we were teenagers-ish, you know, just hanging out, smoke some weed. Oh, you smoke weed? I smoke weed. Let's smoke weed. You know, you talk, and now you're smoking weed, so like you kind of let that bear down. Anyways, that's a fucking another story. Anyway, so we're on a smoke ride, and she's like, yo, man, you know, hi, Ben, blah, blah, blah. We're just talking, and I'm like, yo, man, I need to tell you something. So, yeah, I've been, like, real fucking sad lately. Like, you know what I mean? Like, real sad. And it's not like me to be, like, super sad. Even when shit's, like, rough. I'm never usually, like, super, super sad. You know? You know, it's just not me. You know, I'm not, like, that sulking guy. I'm not, like, real quiet person, depending on the situation. But normally I'm not, like, a real quiet person. I'm not, like, emo. You know what I mean? I wasn't like one of those people that dressed up in all black, and even though I'm wearing black now, most of the time I wear blues or reds or whites or, you know what I mean, brightish colors. But anyways, so I was like, yo, man, like, I've just been real fucking sad, dude. And I told her, like, just like I said, like, dude, I just wake up and I just immediately feel like I want to just, like, cry and just, like, go back to bed, you know? And I was like, you know, just feel like my mind is just like in a fucking cloud of just like depression, you know? So in that cloud of depression, I wrote this song and made this beat. Literally, I made the beat in probably 10 minutes or less, and I wrote the lyrics in probably 18 minutes or less. Like, you know what I mean? But we're just going to listen to it real quick. I wrote this shit while I was depressed on Chantix. You know what, man? Sometimes I think about a lot of shit. Sometimes I wonder what my dad left when I was a kid. No one will tell me the whole story, so what truly happened between my parents, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder why I was placed on this earth. Sometimes I wonder why, how much I am worth. Sometimes
feel ugly, but they're very beautiful. I try not to let shit bug me, but sometimes I just feel used, you know? Sometimes I feel like I'm way too nice. But with being a dick to assholes and cool guys, sometimes I just want to live life to the fullest. Sometimes I want to end it all with just one bullet. Suicide is just a pussy's way out of hard time. And I ain't a pussy, I'd rather just do some hard time. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a family. Just two people who fucked around and had me. The rest are guilty by association. They don't want to know me, they're just put in a situation. Sometimes I feel I'll find true love. Sometimes I feel that I won't, I'll only find crude love. Sometimes I feel like $1,000,000 fucking. Sometimes I feel like I'm in debt that much. But no matter how I feel or what I think sometimes, I know for me to be great it'll only take one time. One time for me to prove myself. To me and everyone else, cause I'll be top shelf. I won't be denied, no one will stop me. If you wanna try, go ahead and watch me. Go right by it like I'm the motherfucking wind. Losing ain't an option, only option for me is to win.
Right, so like I wrote that on Chantix, and I made the beat on Chantix, and turning my speaker around, I turned it towards the camera, hopefully so you guys can hear it better. But yeah, I wrote that on Chantix. And, like, not saying none of it is not how I felt, you know what I mean? But like the beat was just super like dark and hard and just like a sad hip hop deaf poetry jam shit, you know? And I do like some of the shit that I wrote in there, like just two people who fucked around and had me, you know? Would being a dick turn assholes into cool guys, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? And then even at the end, there was a positive spin, even though, which, like I said earlier, is my nature, right? So even then, I was able to put a little positive spin on it, right? But I was on, like, a dark path. Like, I don't know how much longer I would have been able to put on a positive spin. So anyways, me and my friend Melissa are on a ride, we're smoking, I'm telling her all this shit. And she's like, yo, man, like, what have you done differently, you know? And I was like, well, you know, quit smoking cigarettes, you know, but that was like a month ago. Like, it's been like a month since I've had a cigarette. So, like, I feel like that depression would be gone by now, you know what I mean? Like, whatever depression that may cause would be mostly gone. Like, it should, you know, I don't think it'd be this bad, you know? And she was like, oh, shit, yeah, like, you're right, you know? And, you know, so we just talked or whatever. She dropped me off. I went home. That night, I took my Chantix, and, like, as soon as I swallowed it, it, like, hit me. Like, yo, it's the Chantix, dude. And I was like, fuck. You're right, RJ. It's probably the motherfucking Chantix. So the next day I didn't take a Chantix. You know what I mean? Next, you know, I stopped it. Just stopped. That night was the last time I had Chantix. Stopped it. Within days, like 3 days, literally, I felt like damn near normal. Within a week, I was like back to like RJ, you know? And it was crazy, you know? And I was like, you know, thinking about it, and I'm like, what would have happened if it never like clicked that it was the Chantix, and I just kept going? You know what I mean? Like, what would have happened? Like, I don't, like, you know what I mean? It's not good, you know? Sure wouldn't have been good, you know? But, so, all of that leads me to the bigger point, and that is that since then, we found out so much about mental illness, dude, and I didn't fully understand it back then. Like, I've always felt like I've had some anxiety, sometimes worse than others, you know, some days worse than others, some situations worse than others, You know what I mean? And like a racing mind and shit, you know, and some like sad thoughts, like I feel like most people do, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think everybody has 100% happy thoughts about themselves all the fucking time, you know? So, but I was like, dude, like if that's what, like, if me being on Chantix and being that fucking sad, like legitimately sad as fuck, like if that's what some of these people feel like, dude, holy shit. Like go get some help, man. Or woman. You know, go get some help, dude. See 4 therapists if you need to. 5. You know, like do whatever you gotta do, man. And we need to try to find safer alternatives to the medications we give these people as well. But holy shit. Like now that's why, like, you know, if somebody's like clinically depressed or clinically like fucked up in the head, you know, like I don't mean that in a bad way, fucked up in the head, you know, I don't mean that in a bad way, but you know, just a generalization, bipolar, depression, super anxious, you know, schizophrenia, whatever, you know, that sucks, man, and I feel for you, and you know, not that back then I didn't care about any of these people. I just didn't really fully understand what they were going through, because how could you, right? It's impossible to know unless you're going through it. Not even saying I went through it like that, but just Chantix made me feel so shitty, and it fucks with your brain like that chemically, you know, where I'm like, yo, if this is what like a chemical imbalance is like for people who have depression or whatever, like no wonder why like some of them, you know, do the bad thing. You know, I don't even want to really say it, but you know what I mean. Because it's like they feel no other way out to escape it. You know, like, you know, and it's like, fuck, dude. Like, I feel that. You know, like, especially after taking the Chantix all those years ago. It's like, holy shit, like, if I didn't realize what it was, my mom might have just fucking found me dead. Like, who fucking knows? You know what I mean? Because your brain's fucking crazy. And when you fuck with your brain, dude, it just gets crazier. Like, bad shit could happen. That's why when people are on their meds and they stop taking them, they lose their fucking minds sometimes. You know, like, because you're fucking with your brain. You know, and I'm not saying people don't need to take their, like, medicines. Like, if you need it, great, dude, take it. Or dudette, you know, take it all the time. As scheduled, as prescribed, take it. Like, you're safer. The people around you are safer. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's better off if you're on it. And most importantly, you are better off if you're on it. You know, I just think we need to start finding safer alternatives to what's currently out there. But this was my story of Chantix and how it kind of led me to understand mental illness a little bit. Even in that song, sometimes I said, suicide's a pussy's way out of hard time, and I'm not a pussy. I'd rather just do some hard time. That was me on Chantix. Now I'm like, dude, as I just said, you know, if that's how you feel every fucking day for months and months and months, you know, like, fuck, dude. No one, you know, like, get help, man. Get help. And so that was my story of taking Chantix, and then, you know, how it kind of led me to, you know, think about mental illness a little differently later on in life. Like I said, this is about a decade or so ago. I'm going to be 33 this year in September. Boy, big 33. Feel like Ritz on the shirt, you know what I'm saying? 3 fingers up, the big 3-3. Anyways, Ritz, yeah. Ritz is a great rapper. Go check him out if you're watching this. Ritz is amazing. Shout out to you, Ritz. Thank you for putting out great music and bangers and all that shit. Much love, man. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Sesh. Leave some comments below if you've had some experiences with Chantix or whatever, you know. And until next time, folks, stay safe out there. Peace.